check it out. Let's make sure we are on Facebook. Just been working on. Yes, we are. Thank God it's working. All right, I think we're ready to go. All right, everybody. Welcome to whatever. Welcome to the evening program or the morning program or the midday program, depending on where you are in the world. So we'll chant a little first. All right, try something new. Not so new. Samsadadavanna Lila Puka Janaya Karunya Nagatwam Raptasha Nagun Nanavasha Vandegaro Sri Charanada Bindam Mahaprabhu Gitanan Richa Gita Vatitra Manyan Manasora Romanchakam Basruta Tangapajo Vande Guru Shri Chatanada Pindam Shri Vigrahadan Nananechanana Shingaratan Mandira Majanadu Yutashamakams Janio Shri Bhagavan Sadhu Swadhana Triptan Harivata Sanghan Triptaiva Triptim Ajatasa Toiva Vande Guru Shri Charanada Pindam Shri Radhikamad Avayoru Hara Madhu Lila Pacha Vande Guru Shri Charanada Pindam Nikujayu no Ratikedi Sidyai Yayalibe Uktira Peshaniya Dakshrade Daksha Tati Vadavasha Vande Guru Shri Charanada Sakshadati Trenatsamasta Sastri Tastada Bhagyata Eva Sadi Turapur Yapriya Eva Tasha Vande Guru Shri Charanada Pindam Jasya Sadhu Bhagavat Prasadu Yasya Prasadan Nagati Gatopi Dayam Tuvam Tasya Yasya Sanyam Vande Guru Shri Charanada Pindam Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Namo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Prabhupada, 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 Jayo, Prabhupada, 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 Jayo, Prabhupada, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Jai Gaurani, Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paramacharya also Teta Sitashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chandananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Vidas Thakur Ki Jai Param Se Kahoshri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Gijai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Goparan Kijai Vrindavanam Kijai Mathuradam Kijai Jagadata Sami Kijai Yamunamai Kijai Srimati Lasidevi Kijai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Kijai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Budale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deja Tarani. Somagana Timidanda Shagananjana Shlakya Chakshudam Medidam Yena. Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorancia. So, we will continue with our study of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. We're reading from Madhya Lila, chapter 6, about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just gotten through with proving that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not only that, that the impersonal Brahman is subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not only that, that Brahman does not undergo any transformations. And not only that, but Brahman does not fall into illusion. Illusion is called vivarta, transformation is called harinam. So, we're not advocates of Brahma, vivarta, vada, or Brahma, harinam, vada. Anyway, some fancy words for all of you to share in case you're ever preaching to people. So, anyway, we are in favor of Shakti Parinam Vada. Shakti means the Lord's energies undergo transformation, and also Jiva Shakti, Vivartavada. That means the Jiva Shaktis oftentimes fall into illusion. Like all of us here in the material world that are watching this particular broadcast, you are subjected to Vivarta, illusion. As long as you think yourselves a particular nationality, particular gender, particular race, particular species, particular anything with material designation, particular academic qualifications, whatever, particular age, you are under this Vivarta Shakti, the Lord's illusory potency, who is personified by Durga Devi, who is the wife of Lord Shiva. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and continue reading the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita from the sixth chapter of the Madhya Lila. And right now we're going to start reading. Hold on one second, let me do the sharing. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All right, that should be enough. Whoops. Just have to space everything properly. I wonder if I can make, yeah, I can make this smaller. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's cool. Give me 1 second. I didn't realize I could resize some of these other windows, which actually makes things easier. Okay. Text 187. So right now we're going to hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, give his discourse on what's called the Atma Rama verse. Wow. And that Atma Rama verse states that all varieties of self-realized sages are attracted to Krishna's quality, name, and form. And this proves that Krishna's quality, name, form, personality, and everything is transcendental. Or in English, transcendental. I just spoke a little Spanish for you there. Shuni Bhattacharya Kahe, Shuna Mahashaya, E Shlokerarta Shunite Vancha Hoya. After hearing the Atmarama verse, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear sir, please explain this verse. I have a great desire to hear your explanation of it. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is right here getting to the point of surrendering to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is going to be the final, I don't want to use the word nail in the coffin, but the final straw that broke the Mayavadi's back, or so to speak. Prabhu kahe tumi ki artha kara ta age shuni Hacheyame kariba harta yeva kichu jani. The Lord replied, first let me hear your explanation. After that, I shall try to explain what little I know. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, I want to hear your explanation first, and then I'll let you have it. But he's being very humble about it. Shuni Bhattacharya Shloka Karilavya Kyana Tarka Shastra Matautaya Vivida Vidhana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then began to explain the Atmarama verse. According to the principles of logic, he put forth various propositions. Nanavidartha Kaila Shastra Matalana Shuni Prabhu Kahi Kichu Ishat Hasya. The Bhattacharya explained the Atmarama verse in 9 different ways on the basis of scripture. After hearing this explanation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, smiling a little bit, began to speak. So Prabhupada explains that the Atmarama verse was discussed at Naimisharanya at a meeting of many great sages headed by Shonaka Rishi. They questioned Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who was presiding at the meeting, about why Srila Sukadeva Goswami A Paramahansa already in the transcendental position was attracted to a discussion of the qualities of Krishna. In other words, they wanted to know why Sri Shukadeva Goswami engaged in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So actually, there's a whole story about this. Okay, here's the story. Shukadeva Goswami, before he manifested his pastimes, and I said this is a pastime, he was a Brahmavadi. In other words, he was absorbed in Brahman but didn't know about the personal features of the Lord. So, what does that mean? What is a Brahmavadi? And what is it in contrast to a Mayavadi? A Mayavadi not only doesn't know about the personal features of the Lord, but decries the personal features of the Lord. A Mayavadi is one who says the Lord has no personal features, everything is Maya, and the Lord's, let us say, appearance, variety, features, and everything is all illusion. That's a Mayavadi. Whereas the Brahmavadi says, well, all I know is the Brahman effulgence. So let's contrast it with two words in English, okay? There's an agnostic and there's an atheist. An agnostic says, I just don't know. I don't believe in a personal feature, but I don't know. I'm not against it. And an atheist says, I'm against it. I'm agnostic means one without knowledge. Atheist means one who's against God. Just put the A in front of the word. Gnosis, agnosis, because we're talking about Greek here, means one who is without knowledge. Ag- Atheist means one who is against theism. Got it? You can see the difference between the two? So a Brahmavadi is basically what we call an agnostic, without knowledge of the personality of Godhead. Agnostic in relationship to the personality of God. And a Mayavadi is an atheist. I think we understand that. So he was innocent. So Shukadeva Goswami was in the womb of his mother. And his father was quite a nice chap. His father is considered to be the literary incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva. So Shukadeva Goswami was in his mother's womb, and he thought, I don't want to get out of here. Now, why was he thinking like that? It's not so nice to be in there. It's really bad. You don't get a chance to run and skip and drive your car around or anything like that if you're in your mother's womb or have any fun. Or, well, you can eat, but, the eating process, I guess, through your navel is not such a great idea. So anyway, but he was thinking, I don't want to get out because if I get out, there'll be too much illusion, too many attractive features. For example, if you have good parents, when you get out of your mother's womb, you are so cute. Like kids are really cute. Even Ravana, when he was a little baby, was really cute. Even Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, uh, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, they were cute as anything. Even tigers, vicious animals like tigers, when they're little cubs, are so cute. They're adorable. So, anyway, so the point is, he didn't want to fall into the cute sampradaya, which means he comes out, his mother says, isn't he cute? Isn't he adorable? And she starts kissing him all over the place. And she just pays all the attention to him, does whatever he wants. I mean, that is dangerous. Imagine having someone carry you everywhere, kiss you all the time. Yuck. Anyway, carry you and feed you and hold you to her chest and say, oh, you're the most wonderful thing that ever occurred, and take pictures of you as a little baby and surround the house with your baby pictures. So Shukadeva Goswami didn't want any of that. He thought, Better because I'm absorbed in Brahman now. I do not want to come out. That's it. So he stayed there for some time, and the acharyas differ in the explanation. Some say 16 years. Quite a long pregnancy there. But anyway, it was a long pregnancy. Finally, Krishna had to convince him he had to hear some transcendental sound. And when as soon as he heard transcendental sound and he understood what? That there is a supreme personality of Godhead who's all attractive and you don't have to be in Maya when you're born. You've got something devotional to do. That's cool. Otherwise, what's the use of being born? Then he came out. But not only did he come out, this is the sad part, or the happy part, depending on your perspective. I mean, if you're a parent, it's a sad part. If you're a sannyasi, it's a happy part. So not only did he come out, he was born without a C-section. Anyway, not only did he come out, but he ran away from home immediately after being born. Imagine you're waiting for your kid to be born and thinking, oh, I hope it's a boy or a girl, whatever you're hoping. And the kid comes out and says, hasta la vista, Dad and Mom. So the kid says goodbye. And this is what he did. He said goodbye to his father and mother. Let me make sure the volume is loud enough. I have to hold on a second. I should make it a little louder. This is dramatic. All right. All right. Here we go. So he said goodbye to his mother and father, and his father was running after him. His father kept crying, oh, my son. Oh, my son. The story's in the Bhagavatam. I didn't make this up. Oh, my son. Oh, my son. And it said, only the trees echoed his plaintive cry for his son. You could imagine how the poor father felt. So Shukadeva Goswami, because obviously he was in control of his senses, didn't want to stay home for even a second. So Shukadeva Goswami basically used his mystic potency, because he's a great yogi too, and he created a duplicate, a clone of himself, so his father could take someone home with him. And so there was a duplicate Shukadeva. Yogis could do that. They were so advanced in genetic engineering at that time, they could clone human beings from DNA and RNA. Yes, they actually did that. I mean, there was another story about Vena. He was a great king. He was killed because he was such an idiot. And they didn't have any other kings, no one with good Kshatriya blood, so they basically had to clone him. And they got 3 living entities from that cloning. One bad, and then a male and a female. Oh my God. Oh my God. They got a man and his wife. And a bad guy too. But anyway, they, from the cloning, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So you think, nowadays we're so advanced with genetic engineering. Well, we're not. In the Veda culture, they could do all this with mantras. They didn't have to get all these mechanical arrangements to do that. So anyway, so let's get back to the point. So Shukadeva Goswami, later on, after he left home, he came back to Dad and he studied the Srimad Bhagavatam from his father. And his life is proof that someone who is absorbed in Brahman is attracted to Krishna, which proves that Krishna's pastimes are transcendental, because someone absorbed in Brahman is not interested in anything material. You understand? That's the purport of the Atmarama verse. Aparamascha Nagranta Upame Kravanti Haitati Bhakti Itambuta Gunahari. And that's what the verse says. That those who are self-satisfied, Atmaramas Cha, Nyagranta, who have no material, uh, who are destitute, let's say, in this world, who have no material needs or no material attraction, uh, they, and who are transcendental, are attracted to Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, Krishna's pastimes are material, are spiritual. Sorry, I don't want to have a my body side. Are spiritual because they're not attracted. I'm just trying to explain this again, in different ways. They're not attracted, these Atmarama people, to material things. They're only attracted to spiritual things. So that's proof that Krishna's pastimes are spiritual and above the undifferentiated, mm, let us say, goal of the Brahmavadis and the Mayavadis. Got it. Let's go on to the next verse. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was able to explain by the different permutations of the words 9 different meanings to this verse. So permutations of the words means, if you don't know what permutations means, that each word can have several different meanings. Let's say let me explain what a permutation is first, if you don't know what it is. Let's forget about, let's talk about words. Let's say you have a sentence with 4 words. Okay. I go, 5 words. I go to the store. Okay. So you say, I can have 2 different meanings. Go can have 3 different meanings. And each of the other words have 3 different meanings. So that means that how many permutations are there? 1 times 3. That 1 times 3 is 3, obviously. So you got 3 different permutations so far. And then each of the additional words have 3 different meanings to them. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 times 3. And that's the amount of permutations. Permutations just means possible combinations based upon different interpretations of a particular word. If you're dealing with words, you can also deal with equations or numbers or probability. Usually in probability, they talk about permutations too. So I'm not going to get into mathematics or higher mathematics right now. But in any case, that's what permutations means, and that's how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was able to give 9 different meanings of the verse. And we're going to hear how Lord Caitanya had many more permutations in his interpretation of this particular verse. I hope I explained properly what permutations is. Should I explain again? Okay, let's say you have 3 words. I, you, me. And each word has 2 different meanings. It's easy. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 permutations, possible combinations of what this sentence means. Okay, got it. Bhattacharya jane tumi sakshat brahaspati shashta vyakya kariteyache karo nahi shakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Bhattacharya, you're exactly like Brahaspati, the priest of the heavenly kingdom. Indeed, no one within this world has the power to explain the scriptures in such a way. In fact, he is an incarnation of Brahaspati, according to Kavi Karnapur, who wrote the book describing who the personalities are in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes and who they corresponded with in Krishna's pastimes. And that book is called the Gaura Ganadesh Deepika. Okay. Kintu to me. All right. I'm going to have to wait a second. to have to... Please don't write on the screen, Rishikesh, because if you do, I'm going to have to just take the time of going in and going to the settings of... All right, I already did it. Nobody else can annotate but me. And I'm just going to erase what he just did. Okay. I should do that each time. Okay. So much for that. Kintu tumi artha kaile panditya patibaya iha vahish lokera ache aro abhipraya. My dear Bhattacharya, you have certainly explained this verse by the prowess of your vast learning, but you should know that besides a scholarly explanation, there is another purport to this verse. Bhattacharya prartanate prabhu vyakya kaila tananava artamaje ekana chunila. Upon the request of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to explain the verse without touching upon the 9 explanations given by the Bhattacharya. Now we're going to hear about some of these permutations. Aparamascha shloke ekadasha padahaya pratak pratakaila padayara artha nishchaya. There are 11 words in the Atmarama verse, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained each word one after the other. The words in the Atmarama verse are Atmarama cha muniya nagranta api urukume kuvanti ahaitu bhaktim tambuta gana bari, which I already told you. Tatat pada pradanye Atmarama milana astadasartha kaila abhipraya lana. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took each word specifically and combined it with the word Atmarama. He thus explained the word Atmarama in 18 different ways. And you talk about permutations. Wow, the first word, there's 18 different explanations to. Bhagavan Tanva Shakti Tanva Guna Gana Achinta Pravati Nayaya Katana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different potencies and his transcendental qualities all have inconceivable prowess. It is not possible to explain them fully. Anyayata Sadhya Sadhana Kari Achadana Etina Hari Siddha Tada Kiramana. These 3 items attract the mind of the perfect student engaged in spiritual activities and overcome all the processes of spiritual activity. Spiritual activities other than Bhakti Yoga are divided into 3 categories. Speculative activity conducted by the Jnana Sampradaya. In other words, speculating, that's easy to understand. Fruitive activity conducted by the general populace. External activities according to Vedic regulations. And the activities of transcendentalists not engaged in devotional service, just sitting and meditating. There are many different branches of these categories, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by its inconceivable potencies and transcendental qualities, attracts the mind of the student engaged in the activities of karma, jnana, yoga, and so forth. The Supreme Lord is full of inconceivable potencies which are related to his person, his energies, and his transcendental qualities. All these are very attractive to the serious student. Consequently, the Lord is known as Krishna. They all attract him. In other words, whatever type of spiritualist one is attracted to Krishna. And also, materialists are, as Lord Chaitanya is going to explain. Sanakari Shukadeva Tahate Pramana Ematanana Arthakarena Vyakyana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the meaning of the verse by giving evidence concerning Shukadeva Goswami, which I just spoke about, and the 4 rishis, Tanaka, Sanatan, Sananda, and Sanat Kumar. Thus the Lord gave various meanings and explanations. So I'll tell the story about the 4 rishis. 5-year-old boys, their names were Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar. They wanted to go to the spiritual world. They weren't allowed to enter. Jai and Vijay, the 2 doorkeepers, stopped them from entering. And they weren't pure devotees at that point. They were simply Brahmavadis again, same as Shukadeva Goswami. But when they smelled the tulsi leaves and flowers offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, immediately they became attracted, because the smell of the lotus flowers and the tulsi leaves at the lotus feet of the Lord, and I use the word lotus a lot, are transcendental. I remember when I first came to Krishna consciousness and we offered flowers to Krishna, I couldn't believe the smell. I would keep the flower in my nose all day long until the thing wilted. Not the nose, but the flower. That Krishna is all attractive is verified by the activities of the four rishis and Shukadeva Goswami. All of them were liberated persons, yet they were attracted by the quality and pastimes of the Lord. It is therefore said, Mukta pilalaya vigraham kritva bhagavanta majante. Even liberated persons are attracted by the pastimes of Lord Krishna and thus engage in devotional service. That's from C.C. Madhya Lila, 2412. From the very beginning of their lives, Shukadeva Goswami and the four Kumars, known as the Chatushana, were still liberated and self-realized on the Brahman platform. That's why I said before, they're Brahma bodies. Nonetheless, they were attracted by the qualities of Krishna and they engaged in his service. The four Kumaras were attracted by the aroma of the flowers offered at the lotus feet of Krishna, and in this way they became devotees. As I just said. Shukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam by the mercy of his father Vyasadeva, and he was consequently attracted to Krishna and became a great devotee. The conclusion is that the transcendental bliss experienced in the service of the Lord must be superior to Brahmananda, the bliss derived from realizing the impersonal Brahman. So what is that word Brahmananda? Brahman and Ananda. Ananda means bliss, unending bliss, and Brahman means spiritual. Got it, get it. Shuni Bhattacharya Ramane Haila Chamatkara Prabhuki Krishna Jani Apkare Apana Dikara. Upon hearing Caitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of the Atmarama verse, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was struck with wonder, or wonderstruck. He then understood Lord Sri Chaitanya to be Krishna in person, and he thus condemned himself in the following words. Inho ta sakshat Krishna munina janiya mahaparada kainu garvata hiya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was certainly Lord Krishna himself, because I could not understand him and was very proud of my own learning. I have committed many offenses. Atma ninda kari laila prabhura shanana kuripa karibare tabe prabhura haila mana. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya denounced himself as offender and took shelter of the Lord desired to show him mercy. Nija rupa prabhu tanre karaya ladarshana chatabuja rupa prabhu haila takana. To show him mercy, Lord Chaitanya allowed him to see his Vishnu form. Thus he immediately assumed 4 arms. I can't do that. Dekaila tanrayage chaturbuja rupa pache shama vamshi mukha swakya sarupa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first showed him the 4-handed form and then appeared before him as original form of Krishna with a blackish complexion and a flute to his lips. Hribo. Deki sarvabhauma dandavat kari pari punahuti stuti kare dvi kara yudi. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw the form of Lord Krishna manifested in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately fell down flat, obviously, to offer him obeisances. Then he stood up and with folded hands began to offer prayers. Prabhura kripaya tanre spurila savatatva nama prema dana hari varnana mahatsa. By the mercy of the Lord, all truths were revealed to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he could understand the importance of chanting the holy name and distributing love of Godhead everywhere. Shata shloka kailaika dandanayate brahaspati taiche shloka na hare karite. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composed 100 verses in a very short time. Indeed, not even Brahaspati, the priest of the heavenly planets, could compose verses as quickly. The name of the book of 100 beautiful verses composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is Shushloka Shataka. Shuni Suke Prabhu Tanre Kaila Alingana Bhattacharya Prema Veshe Haila Achetana. After hearing the 100 verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily embraced Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was immediately overwhelmed in ecstatic love of Godhead and fell unconscious. Ashrustamba Pulaka Sveda Kamba Tarahari Nache Gaya Kande Pade Prabhupada Dari. Out of ecstatic love of God, the Bhattacharya shed tears and his body was stunned. He exhibited an ecstatic mood. He perspired, shook, and trembled, sometimes danced, sometimes chanted, sometimes cried, and sometimes fell down to touch the lotus feet of the Lord. Deki Gopanathacharya Parashita Mantha Bhattacharya Ranrichadeki Ase Prabhuda Gana. While Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was in this ecstasy, Gopinathacharya was very pleased. The associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all laughed to see the Bhattacharya dance so. Gopinathacharya Kahi Mahaprabhu Prati Se Bhattacharya Prabhu Kailahi Gati. Gopinathacharya told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sir, you have brought all this upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Remember, Gopinathacharya is the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Prabhu kahi tumi bhakta tumara sangha haite Jagannatha hare kripa kaila balamate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, you are a devotee because of your association. Lord Jagannatha has shown him mercy. Tabi Bhattacharya Rabo Shustira Karila Stirahana Bhattacharya Bahu Stuti Kaila. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pacified the Bhattacharya, and when he was quiet, he offered many prayers to the Lord. Jagat Nistari Le Tumi Sayal Pakarya Ama Udari Le Tumi E Shakti Ascharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, my dear sir, you have delivered the entire world, but that is not a very great task. However, you have also delivered me, and that is certainly the work of very wonderful powers. Tarka Shastri Jadahami Yache Lohapunda Amatravai Tume Pratapa Prachanda. I had become dull-headed due to reading too many books on logic. Consequently, I had become like an iron bar. Nonetheless, sorry, you have melted me, and therefore your influence is very great. Stuti Shuni Mahaprabhu Nijavasaila Bhattacharya Acharya Dware Bhiksha Karaila. After hearing the prayers offered by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence, and the Bhattacharya, through Gopinathacharya, induced the Lord to accept lunch there. Aradina Prabhu Gela Jagannatha Darashane Darshana Karila Jagannatha Sayotane. Early in the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Lord Jagannatha in the temple, and he saw the Lord rise from his bed. Pujari Aniyamala Prasadana Dila Prasadana Malapana Prabhu Harsha Haila. The priest there presented him with garlands of prasadam that had been offered to Lord Jagannath. This pleased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much. Se prasadana mala anchale bandhiya Bhattacharya Ragarayala Parayukta Hana. Carefully tying the prasadam and garlands in a cloth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hastened to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Arunodaya Kale Haila Prabhura Agamana Se Kale Bhattacharyera Haila Jagarana. He arrived at the Bhattacharya's house a little before sunrise, just when the Bhattacharya was arising from bed. This is going to be a wonderful pastime because it's going to show how a devotee transcends all the rules and regulations of ritualistic Brahmanism. Krishna, Krishna, Sputa Kahi Bhattacharya Jagila, Krishna Nama Shuni Prabhura Ananda Bhadila. As Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya rose from bed, he distinctly chanted, Krishna, Krishna! Lord Chaitanya was very pleased to hear him chant the holy name of Krishna. Bahire Prabhurateno Paila Darashana Asti Vyaste Asti Kaila Charana Vandana. The Bhattacharya noticed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu outside, and with great haste he went to him and offered prayers to his lotus feet. Vasate asana diya dunheta vasila Prasadana Kuli Prabhu Tanrahate Dila. The Bhattacharya offered a carpet for the Lord to sit upon, and both of them sat there. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the prasadam and placed it in the hands of the Bhattacharya. Prasadana Panna Bhattacharya Nanda Haila Snana Sandhya Danta Dhavana Yajapina Kaila. At that time, the Bhattacharya had not even washed his mouth, nor had he taken his bath or finished his morning duties. Nonetheless, he was very pleased to receive the prasadam of Lord Jagannath. Chaitanya Prasade Manera Saba Jadya Gela Eshlokapadi Ana Lakshana Karila. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the dullness in the mind of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was eradicated. After reciting the following two verses, he ate the prasadam offered to him. Shushkam paryushitam vapi nitam vaduradeshataha prapti matrena bhoktavyam natrakala vicharana. The Bhattacharya said, one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately on receiving it, even though it is dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country. One should consider neither time nor place. Nadesha niyamastatra nakala niyamastata praptamanam durtam shishtaya bhoktavyam harir abravit. The prasadam of Lord Krishna is to be eaten by gentlemen. As soon as it is received, there should be no hesitation. There are no regulative principles concerning time and place. This is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in other words, let me just check one thing to see how much further we have. We actually have quite a bit to go in this chapter. So, we're going to end here. So, in other words, this is 226. 226 we ended with. So, in other words, devotional service is transcendental to all these mundane, ritualistic rules and regulations. Because Krishna is transcendental. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was showing great faith in the process of devotional service. Okay. So, actually, I think I'm going to do a little treat for all of you. I am going to show you, not the same video we showed you yesterday. Don't worry. That's not going to happen. I'm going to show you what one of my disciples, who's a very little child, and his sister have done. I was just so amazed. I saw this just before. Let's stop sharing right now. I saw this just before I went online tonight, or this morning, depending on where you are. And so, we're going to show you a brief. This shows how Krishna consciousness is not dependent. Let me just pull this off. Is actually not dependent upon age, even. This is a very transcendental little boy. And I'm going to share the screen with you, and I'm just really proud of what he's done. Hold on a second. 1 second. We're going to share the screen, and we're going to allow you, oops, take my spotlight off. Share the screen, and we're going to see this video, share the sound, optimize for video clip. Okay. Okay, here we go. Just to share a few minutes of this. Here we go. Let's see, hopefully they can play it. Whoops.
Welcome back to the channel. And today Shama is going to recite a verse, which is sing.
Dharma karma me divyam evam yo viditaha tata dehupna jana neti marmiti shurjanaha.
Haribol. So this verse means that whoever understands the activities and the birth and all other features of Krishna, he hears, and when he understands these, he goes back to Godhead. And what are his activities, Shama? What does he play?
Flute.
And then who does he play with?
I can read reverse.
Balaram.
Okay, I can read.
Yeah.
Now I can read.
Balaram.
Balaram, Krishna, and Madhu, and
And
Balaram, and Subala.
yes. And when all of them play together, eat together, all these
Wait.
What?
I just don't know what you were
Yeah,
doing.
they have transcendental activities, right?
Yes!
And then when we understand this, we go back to Godhead. Yay!
Yay!
Haribol!
Haribol! Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna. Do you
gotta
want to recite the verse
tell.
again? Janma
Karmata me divyam ebamyo bititata tata de hupura janma neti mamiti shurjana.
Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, one thing which makes this verse very special is, do you know why this verse is very special?
Yeah.
Do you?
Whoops. All right. I think there's an advertisement here, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Should we tell them?
Okay, let's
Once upon a time, Srila Prabhupada
let's stop it.
all of his disciples, right?
Anyway, let me turn this off. Okay, these are some of the proteges at our school here, students of our academy. Even this little girl. How old is this little girl? Does anyone know? She must be like under 2. She's 2 years old. And Advaita Chandra is how old? He's 11. The boy is 11. He's initiated. He's going to get a second initiation this year. And the girl is 2 years old. And so this is the benefit of worshiping Radha Golokananda and being part of our community, that even when you're 2, you can take your Bhakti Shastri exam. I'm not sure if she has the Bhakti Shastri certificate yet, but she probably will by the time she's 2.5. So, and then Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta by the time she's 3.5. And then GBC by the time she's 4. Anyway, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Anyway, so on that happy note, and Advaita Chandra puts out these videos, these preaching videos on the internet on a regular basis. It's really interesting. Okay, so we are going to, hold on a second. We're going to unmute you all. Let me just go to this thing and let you ask questions for the final few minutes of this session. This just gives you a taste of what we're doing here. We have an amazing school and an amazing teacher who's actually watching right now. Her name is Champaka Lata. And she's like a touchstone. You see it. Any little kid who goes to her school turns out like that within a few moments. That's amazing, isn't it? It just, I'm putting her on the spotlight. You can see her here. So they just like, at 2 years old, they're taking the Bhakti Shastri exam. I mean, it's just amazing. All right, so, oh my God, I'll remove spotlight. Okay, so, who has a question? Okay, you want to go to the school? Amrit Karan.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. Guru
Okay, so
Maharaj.
what's the question?
Actually, I'm wondering that I'm curious that Sukhdev Goswami, he was a parrot of Srimati Radharani. Then he heard Bhagavatam from uh, Lord Shiva, and then he
Yeah.
entered to the mouth of in the Vyasdev's wife, like Bitika,
Yeah.
Mother Bitika's home. Then how still he become Brahmavadi? How?
Well, that's a pastime, phew, told by my godbrother Gur Govinda Maharaj. That's a little complicated. But anyway, I'm not going to tell that whole pastime of that. But in any case, it's a pastime. Just like sometimes under Yogamaya, Krishna appears to forget that he's the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna does forget that he's the Supreme Personality of God. So sometimes Krishna's pure devotees, like Brahaspati, for example, even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is Brahaspati, and Brahaspati certainly knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that the personal form of the Lord is superior to the impersonal form of the Lord. That's Brahaspati.
Mhm.
So, because of the pastimes, Krishna's devotees sometimes appear to not know something when in fact they do know something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, happened by the Jugamaya potency of Lord.
By the Yogamaya potency. By the Yogamaya potency of the Lord, it appeared that he was in ignorance, but actually that was for the pastime. Just like you have the story of the Tulsi Shalagram Vivaha, right? Where
Uh-huh.
Krishna is fighting with one of his coward boyfriends and killing him. Uh, nice question. So there's another question. Do you offer Bhakti Shastri long distance? Yes, there's an online version that's being offered for adults. I don't know when they start again. I think they just finished the course, and we're Bhakti Shastri here. Also, we start. Champaka said they start in August. If you Gorahari, if you just put down your email address, Champaka will copy it from the text window. And then she'll contact you when they start again in August. It's a 10-month course, and it's online. And also, for those of you who want to do it in Bengali, you out of New Orleans, they do the course, right?
We are done. We done our course. I don't know exactly when we are going to start again,
Okay.
but we have.
Anyway, you don't know when you're going to start again, but at
Yeah.
least this one, Champaka's doing the one in English. We're an authorized Bhakti Shastri examination center, so when you get your certificate, you'll be authorized to become a GBC. You can contact her for fees and tuition. Just type in your email address, Gauri, and then she'll communicate with you. If you type it in, she'll copy it from the window. All right. Who else has a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Who? Oh, this is Jishnu. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Jishnu.
Hare Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita, on Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter 4th verse, Krishna says that all beings are in me, but I am not in them. But if you think, isn't the super soul within us and Krishna is right beside us? And uh, is isn't that just Krishna? But is there a different meaning for this? I'm a bit confused on that.
All right. All beings are in me, and I am not in them. In other words, when we're talking about all beings within Krishna, that means everything is within Krishna's energies. Let me just turn off. Someone is making a lot of noise here. Hold on a second. I think they stopped. That everyone is within Krishna's energies. That means all beings are within Krishna. But as far as Krishna, let me read the verse again. I mean, let's go back to the verse so I can just like analyze the verse right now. Hold on a second. Get to the Gita, and we will share this for. No, we don't need to share it. 9:4. Maya tatamidam sargam jagadavyaktas murtina matstani sarvabhutani naham teshvavasita. By me, my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. So that's the first point. All beings are in me. So in other words, all beings are within Krishna's unmanifest form. And this is what is being referred to here in the verse. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina. My unmanifested form is pervading everything. Matstani and me, sarvabhutani, all living entities in terms of Krishna's energy. Nacha also aham teshu, in them, situated. I am not situated in them. It can refer also to Krishna's energy, and it also can refer to Krishna's form as Krishna, not as the super soul. The super soul is within every being, but Krishna in his original form is not in everyone's heart. Although super soul and Krishna are non-different, but Krishna as Krishna playing a flute is not in everyone's heart. Does that explain?
Yeah, that explains. And also, if you take it into context, like in also in Bhagavad Gita, it says that he is the fire of digestion.
Krishna is the fire of digestion. Yeah.
Is that
What
also considered an unmanifested form, or is that just a diverted
it's
energy?
hard. Can you speak louder? It's hard to hear you.
Is that also considered an unmanifested form, or is that just a diverted energy?
That's an energy of Krishna.
Okay.
That's Krishna's the fire of digestion, Jamadagni. Krishna says, that he's everything. Ahang sarvasya prabhu matak sarvam pravartate. It's not a Vishnu form of Krishna, the fire of digestion. Otherwise, we would worship the fire of digestion and we would become Krishna conscious by worshiping the fire of digestion. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Who else has a question? Anybody else? No one else.
Nobody has a Gurudev, then I'll ask a question.
Okay, ask a question, Rakesh.
The question is, we have four ashram, like Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is Vanaprastha dharma then?
Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha, the word means go to the forest, Prabhu. It's a retired ashram, traditionally. Okay, traditionally, it's a retired ashram in which the husband and wife would stay together and serve Krishna. The Bhagavatam gives some traditional injunctions for Vanaprastha, like wearing tree bark, clothes made of tree bark, which is actually kind of rough, which is what Lord Ram did. Even though Lord Ram was not actually, in terms of like permanently in the Vanaprastha ashram, Lord Ram and Sita, Vanaprastha, they went to the forest. And so they wore clothes of tree bark, stitched. They made cloth out of tree bark. And they also matted their hair. At least Lord Ram matted his hair. You take the sap from the tree and you mat your hair. However, that aspect of Vanaprastha is not followed in this Kali Yuga. The preferable stage of renunciation in Kali Yuga is called Kshetra Sannyas, which is a sort of vanaprastha in which the husband and wife stay together and they serve Krishna in some holy place. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was that type of vanaprastha, that he was staying in the holy place and serving Lord Jagannath. So technically vanaprastha, I mean, the way it's executed means that one stays with one's wife and serves Krishna. And in the traditional sense, it's a stage before taking sannyas. But in the practical, modern day sense, it's a preferable stage rather than sannyas, which is called Kshetra Sannyas by Srila Prabhupada, and also in the Caitanya Charitamrta. Anyway, hopefully you understand that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all very much. We'll see everybody tomorrow evening. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.